Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Mr. English Podcast channel, your dedicated space for exploring the English language in a way that truly connects with real life. I'm David.
And I'm Anna. We're so glad you've chosen to tune in with us today, wherever you are in the world. Our mission is to guide you through the subtleties and nuances of English, making it feel less like a school subject and more like a natural, flowing conversation.
That's the core of it. Our philosophy is straightforward. Learn by listening, by connecting with topics that matter, and by allowing yourself to relax into the language. Today, we're delving into a subject that is universally understood, a feeling that transcends language barriers. It's that sensation when the world seems to be pressing down on your shoulders. Anna, does that ring a bell?
It doesn't just ring a bell, it plays a whole symphony. We're about to unpack the incredibly complex yet common human experience of stress.
It's such a crucial conversation to have. We all carry stress in our own unique ways, whether it originates from our careers, our academic pursuits, or simply the relentless pace of the daily grind. Being able to articulate this feeling in English isn't just a language skill. It's a tool for connection and self-awareness.
It absolutely is. So let's begin right there. David, for you, what is the signature feeling of being stressed? How does it manifest for you?
For me, it's a distinct physical restlessness. I feel this buzzing, nervous energy inside me, but it's completely unproductive. It's as if my internal engine is revving at maximum RPM, but the car is stuck in neutral. My ability to concentrate shatters, and I become incredibly impatient with small things.
I can visualize that perfectly. For me, it's more of a mental fog that descends. My thoughts become tangled, like a pair of headphones that have been forgotten in a pocket for too long. I feel a profound sense of fatigue that no amount of sleep seems to cure. I find myself becoming withdrawn, craving solitude, just to escape the noise, both outside and inside my head.
That's so relatable. I once spent an entire afternoon trying to assemble a simple bookshelf from one of those big furniture stores. The instructions might as well have been written in ancient hieroglyphics. I had screws left over at the end, which is never, ever a good sign. I got so intensely frustrated that I almost threw a wrench across the living room. My wife came in and found me just sitting on the floor, surrounded by a pile of wood and screws, completely defeated by a piece of furniture. It's hilarious in hindsight, but in that moment, the stress felt immense and all-consuming. That's my telltale sign, when inanimate objects start winning the battle.
That story is a perfect illustration of how stress can magnify small frustrations into huge obstacles. So, for our listeners, stress is essentially our body's natural response to any kind of demand, pressure, or perceived threat. It can trigger a cascade of feelings like being overwhelmed, anxious, or irritable. Let's briefly define those. Overwhelmed, the feeling that you have far too much to handle. Anxious, a persistent and often vague feeling of worry or unease about the future. Irritable, the tendency to become easily annoyed, frustrated, or angered.
And simply talking about it, putting a name to the feeling, is the very first step toward managing it. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a fundamental part of the human experience.
So, how do we translate these complex feelings into clear, natural English? Let's equip our listeners with some phrases that will help them express themselves authentically.
The most direct approach is to say, I'm feeling stressed, or perhaps I'm under a lot of stress right now. It's interesting that we use the preposition under as if we are physically positioned beneath a heavy weight.
A slightly more nuanced and very common way to express this could be, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed at the moment. Using qualifiers like a bit or a little softens the statement and makes it sound very natural in everyday conversation.
Excellent point. Now, let's explore the common sources. Where does this feeling often originate? The workplace is a major contributor for many people.
Without a doubt. In a professional context, you could say something like, my workload is getting out of hand, or I'm completely swamped with deadlines at the moment.
Let's imagine a quick, informal chat to see this in action. Anna, let's say you're my colleague, and you see me at the office coffee machine looking completely frazzled.
Hey, David, you look like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Is everything all right?
Hey, Anna, to be honest, I'm just swamped. This new project has an incredibly tight deadline, and I'm feeling the pressure.
I completely get it. Listen, let me know if you need someone to bounce ideas off of later. Sometimes a fresh perspective can make all the difference.
Thanks. I really appreciate that offer. You see, the exchange is simple, supportive, and immediately effective in building a connection.
Now, let's shift to the home front, which can be its own unique pressure cooker. With family, you might say, things are a bit hectic at home these days, or I'm juggling a lot with the family right now.
Oh, absolutely. My children are the loves of my life, but orchestrating their daily schedules sometimes feels like trying to conduct a chaotic orchestra where every musician is playing a different song in a different key.
Let's roleplay another example. I'm a friend calling you to catch up.
Hello?
Hey David, it's Anna. Just calling to see how you are. Is now a good time to chat?
Hey, Anna, it's great to hear your voice, but would you mind if I called you back in about an hour? Things are a little chaotic here. I'm simultaneously trying to cook dinner while mediating a fierce philosophical debate over the ownership of a toy dinosaur.
Say no more. I understand completely. Talk to you later. And may the most righteous dinosaur win.
And of course, for our listeners who are students, the academic pressure is very real and can be a significant source of stress.
In that situation, you could say, I'm feeling the pressure of my upcoming exams. Or, this semester's coursework is really demanding. There's also a wonderful phrasal verb you can use, to weigh on someone. For example, the thought of this final presentation is really weighing on me.
It's fascinating how our bodies often send up warning flares long before our conscious mind fully registers, I am stressed. It's so crucial to learn how to recognize these physical and mental signals.
I agree. One of the first signs for many people is disrupted sleep. You feel utterly exhausted, but the moment your head hits the pillow, your mind decides to host a party. You can express this by saying, I'm having trouble sleeping lately, or I feel completely drained even after a full night's sleep.
Another common signal is a change in appetite. Some people lose their appetite completely, while others engage in stress eating. Your normal eating habits go completely haywire. You could explain this by saying, I haven't had much of an appetite lately, or I've been craving comfort food more than usual.
And what about the mental signs? That brain fog we talked about earlier? Phrases like, I'm finding it hard to concentrate on my work, or my mind feels scattered and unfocused, are perfect for describing this.
Let's not forget physical tension, that nagging stiffness in your neck, tightness in your shoulders, or the classic tension headache. I've had this persistent dull headache all day. It's your body physically holding on to the stress.
So, to summarize the key signals: sleep disruption, changes in appetite, a lack of mental focus, and physical tension. Think of these as your body's check engine light coming on.
Okay, so we've identified the problem and its symptoms. Now let's shift our focus to the solutions. Let's talk about some actionable, accessible, and effective ways to alleviate stress.
My absolute go-to strategy is disconnecting. I mean that literally. I put my phone on silent, leave it in another room, and go for a brisk 15-minute walk. No podcasts, no music, no distractions. Just me, my footsteps, and the world around me. It acts as a hard reset for my brain. A great phrase for this is, I need to go for a walk and clear my head.
That's a powerful one. I have a personal ritual that I protect fiercely. I call it my 5-minute silent coffee. Every single morning before the day's chaos can begin, I make my coffee and I sit in complete silence to drink it. No phone, no news, no conversation. It's a non-negotiable anchor in my day. It's my way of grounding myself before I face whatever the world has in store.
I love the idea of a personal non-negotiable ritual. Another potent tool is engaging in a hobby, especially one that uses your hands, like drawing, cooking, gardening, or playing an instrument. It effectively pulls your focus away from the loop of worries and into a creative flow. You could say, I find that cooking really helps me unwind and de-stress.
And we must never underestimate the profound power of a simple conversation. The goal isn't always to solve the problem, but simply to be heard and validated. Reaching out to a trusted friend and saying, I'm having a tough day, do you have a moment to chat, can be incredibly healing.
Another strategy, which might sound deceptively simple, is practicing mindful moments. This isn't about committing to a full-on meditation practice, which can feel intimidating. It's about taking just 1 minute to intensely focus on your senses.
How does that work in a practical sense?
You could just sit and truly taste your cup of tea. Notice its warmth, its aroma, its flavor, the feel of the mug in your hands. Or you could look out a window and silently name 5 things you can see, 4 sounds you can hear, and 3 things you can feel. It's a technique that yanks you out of the whirlpool of anxious thoughts and plants you firmly in the present moment. You could say, I'm just taking a mindful minute to ground myself.
When you're learning to discuss this topic in English, there are a few common linguistic tripwires to be aware of.
The first is using the word stress as a countable noun. Many learners might say, I have many stresses. It sounds much more natural to say, I have a lot of stress in my life, or to rephrase it as, there are many sources of stress for me right now.
That's a great point. Another key distinction is between the adjective stressful and the adjective stressed. Stressful describes the thing or situation that is causing the stress. For example, my job is very stressful. Stressed, on the other hand, describes your personal feeling. I feel so stressed today.
Exactly. You would never say, I am stressful, because that would imply that you are the one causing stress in other people. It's a subtle but very important difference in meaning.
All right, everyone, let's consolidate and practice what we've learned. We'll say some of the key phrases from today's discussion. If you can, repeat them out loud after us to practice your pronunciation and get a feel for the rhythm of the language.
First, expressing the feeling. I'm under a lot of stress. I'm feeling overwhelmed. This situation is really weighing on me.
Next, describing the cause. My workload is getting out of hand. Things are a bit hectic at home. I'm feeling the pressure from my exams.
Then, identifying the signs. I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm finding it hard to concentrate. I feel completely drained.
And finally, talking about solutions. I need to go and clear my head. I find that my hobby helps me unwind. Do you have a moment to chat?
And that brings us to the end of our conversation today. We've explored what stress feels like, how to talk about it with confidence, and some practical ways to begin managing it.
We sincerely hope this episode has equipped you with both the language and the confidence to express these complex but universal feelings in English. Please remember, acknowledging your stress isn't a weakness. It's a profound sign of strength and self-awareness.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us here on the Mr. English Podcast channel. If this conversation resonated with you, please consider subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any of our future episodes.
We would also love to build a real community here. Please leave us a comment below. What is one personal ritual or activity you have that helps you de-stress? Sharing your experience could be incredibly helpful to someone else who is listening.
And if you know a friend, family member, or colleague who is learning English and might benefit from this discussion, please feel free to share it with them. Learning is always better and more fun when it's done together.
A huge and heartfelt thank you to all of you for listening. We are truly honored to be a small part of your English learning journey.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and most importantly, be kind to yourself. Until next time.